Hi, in this session we'll see how to create a lock object in SAP ABAP. So lock object is like if one user is working in some particular application, so at the same time other user cannot access or cannot edit the same data. Let's take an example. So here I'm accessing this data. So at the same time, if other user trying to access the same data, user will not allowed. Take an example here. As I'm already logged in here in the same objects and I'm trying to log in again in the same object. Here system gives the message the object is logged by user developer 1. We can also see those logged in the transaction called SM12. Go to SM12, press enter. So we can see the lock object here. So this is the table name and this is the primary key, man dealt in the primary key, and the lock mode is E, that is RM edit lock, write lock. So we'll see how to implement this type of lock in our application. So as we already created one program, employee master data. This is a program. So in this program, we'll try to implement our lock object. So for that, first go to SC11. Here we can see the readable as lock object. So primary key, our table name is ZZEMP underscore master. So lock object is always start with E followed by any object name. So we'll give the same table name, but first letter should be E. Click on create, give some description, lock object for employee master data. Here click on tables, give your primary table name ZZ, and lock mode is write lock. We don't want to allow user to write any data. Go to the lock parameter. So by default we can see the primary key comes here because lock object generally works on the primary key combination. So this come automatically. Save in our request, check and activate. So when we activate a lock object in SC11, so by default in SC37 two function models are created. We'll see what are the function models are created. Just put this star. So you can see by default two function models created, in queue and DQ. In queue, suppose we first time log into system and object is not locked, then we have to call the in queue. So what this will do, this will lock the object for other users, and when we finish our work, then we have to call the DQ objects. So this function model in queue underscore object name we need to call in our program. So go to our program, here before going further, check whether the object is locked or not. So we need to call a function model like this. Here go to pattern and click on the in queue function model. Call this function model in our program. Always first open the exceptions. Exporting, the mode will be E, client is this, and which ID we want to log, the employee ID on which you are working. Check and activate. So what system will do, system will lock the object. Now let's say we call this function model and assume that the object is already locked by other user. So we want to give an error message to the user, the object is locked by another user. So you just copy my code here Now, as we can see in SM12, if the object is logged, so we can see the log object entry in this table. So we can read this content by the function model enq underscore root, enq underscore read. So first we'll just give the normal error message. Now let's say if size of is equal to 1, that is foreign log. So we will just display error message first. Message object is logged by other user, type s, set screen 0. So initially we'll call our function model, and if the object is already logged, just give a message object is logged by other user and set screen 0. Don't do any further activity. Execute. Now since this is the first time the system allows us to edit the data. Now in another session, again try to access the same data. Go to SC38 or program, execute, enter the same employee ID, execute. Object is logged by other user, but still system has called the screen, so we'll try in some other way. So what we'll do here, we'll change our code, we'll do little changes in our code. If the object is logged, give the error message, and else if the object is not logged, then perform the remaining operations. So what I have done here, I have added if else statement. If the object is logged, just give the error message. If object is open to access, then perform the remaining operation. Now we'll check whether it is working or not. Execute. This is the first time. Now again access the same program, enter the employee ID, execute. Now we can see the object is logged by other user. System is even not displaying the screen. Now next what we want to do, we want to display the username who has logged the object. Like here, we're only getting the object is logged by other user, but which user, which you can see in SM12, Z0 underscore master lock mode is E, and the user developer has logged this object. So how to read this content? So there is some function model called enq underscore read. This will read the SM12 enq list. We need to pass our table name here and a field name. This is the primary key. Okay, so first we'll try to call this function model in our program. So let's define some parameter. For using the enq underscore function model, we need to define one table enq, like a standard table of this, and two variables. Go to our program. In our program, define those variables. So we have defined one variable as grg, type scqg3 grg. In this we have to pass the mandate and the primary key and one enq table. So those we have defined here. Define one more variable as message to give a message to user. gv underscore message type string. Now here call the function model read underscore enqueue. Go to pattern, enter the function model name read underscore enqueue. So here we have to pass the assignment date. In the G name, we need to pass the table name on which we want to put the table name is ZZEMP underscore master. Now in JRG, we need to pass the client ID and the primary key. For that, what we'll do, concatenate assignment date and p underscore employee ID into JRG. Pass that value here, JRG. In the output, read the table enq. Save, check. Oh, some spelling mistake. Save, check. Always open the exceptions in the function model. Now, if the object is locked, we can call this function model enq underscore read, and in the enq table, we'll get the details which user has locked. Just read the first index of that table. Read table index 1, the object, and we can give the message as the object is locked by user. In this table, fill GU name, we get the username who has logged the user, then give the message as insert screen 0. Now we will see whether we are getting the error message with the user or not. Execute. This is the first time system will allow us to go into the edit mode. Now again try the second time, same program name, execute, enter the same employee ID, execute. Now you can see here the object is locked by user developer 1. So in this way we can implement the lock objects. So what are the steps? This step number 1, in the SE11 create a lock object. In SE11 we need to create a lock object. After creating the lock object, in SE37 system will automatically create two function module, enqueue and dequeue. Then in our program, at the starting, we need to call the enqueue function module. This will check if the object is not locked, then this will lock the object and we can perform the operation. And the object is already locked, then the size of will be equal to 1. Then we need to call the enqueue read function module, which will give the details who has logged this object, and we can just show the message. Second thing, the dequeue option. Whenever we are leaving the program, so we can call the function module dequeue, but it is not required. Like whenever we end a session, system automatically remove the log, but still we can call this dequeue function module after our screen. Like suppose here our program get over, so we can call the dequeue function module here. It is not required generally because system does that automatically, but still if you want we can do that also. Go here, at the end, now this will be dequeue. Go to SE37, So we'll see the effect of this. Let's first come out from the program, go to SM12. Now no object is locked. Go to SE38, execute, execute. Now in SM12 you can see the object lock. As soon as we come back from the screen from the program, you can see the object is removed. So in this way we can implement the lock object, we can implement the lock object for a model program. Thank you.